Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here, and Summer and Sanders,
yes.
right? That's a long name, isn't it?
It is.
It is, yeah. Are you named after anybody in the
No,
family?
but there is a famous former Olympic swimmer named
Oh.
Summer Sanders.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, I will never live up to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ever think of taking up swimming?
No.
Okay. Summer is our summer and fall intern from GU, and you're and you're majoring in, oh gosh, political
science,
okay.
yes.
So you're here. I think you've been sent on a journey to correct me on some things, right?
I think I have.
Yeah, okay. You know, we've been very fortunate in the past and current to have some great interns, and they really make a difference. And so this is your second interview with me and with our guest. And our guest is going to be Jeff Phillips from Rosauers, but more importantly, perhaps, he's here to talk about United Way. And he and my old boss at then Washington Water Power, now Avista, Scott Morris, are co-chairing this year's campaign. And let me guess, it's going to be a little different than before. So we'll talk with Jeff when we come back.
At Wendell Nissan, you're respected, you are valued, and we have an experience tailored for your lifestyle. WendellNissan.com allows you to research and find the perfect vehicle and financing information prior to arriving on our lot. Whether it's the 2020 Rogue Sport, Rogue, or another Nissan model, our trained staff will help you find the perfect fit. For your tailored experience, come see us at Wendell at the Y or WendellNissan.com.
When we opened the doors the first day, we started with a counter full of maybe a dozen selections of a dozen cupcakes. We sold out, and it just went crazy from there. I'm Sally. I run Sweet Frosting's Blissful Bake Shop downtown Spokane. It's almost 40 years of baking for me. We now do between 1,000 and 2,000 cupcakes a day. The variety of cupcakes is kind of like the variety of services that STCU provides for us. Since we opened this site in 2014, they've been our banker. We are producing for 4 stores right here, so we have 35 to 40 employees at any one time. There's an STCU close to virtually every one of my stores, and every time I get a new employee, that's the first place we send them. STCU is such a good fit. It's just so convenient for me to have them as neighbors. They are always so pleasant and always so helpful, and we have a lot of little needs. They've always been behind me 100%, so it's a good thing to have that partnership.
Here at River Ridge Hardware, we carry a great selection of Krylon brand spray paints, Color Master, general purpose, the Rust Protector for taking care of metal, Fusion for taking care of plastics, and the Supermax that can take care of it all.
Weather in the inland Northwest can wear you down. And if your gutters are in poor condition or you do not have gutters, you could suffer damage that could cost a fortune to fix. Rainman Seamless Rain Gutters has almost 30 years of professional experience in serving the inland Northwest region and strives to ensure customer service that is second to none, from the time you call to the end of the project.
Well, welcome back, and I'm pleased to have, we're pleased to have, we gotta get this right. I'm not used to having a sidekick, okay? Jeff Phillips here from, you're the CEO of Rosauers in town.
Right.
And you also didn't duck the ask when it came time to you and Scott Morris from Avista to chair United Way for this year. But more important than that, I've had the chance to meet you several times on our various shows. You're just a good guy. And what I mean by that is, and you know this, my son Brad is Down syndrome, just turned 50 during the COVID and so forth. And he has loved working at Rosauers. And before that, Super One up on the South Hill. And he's asking almost every morning, do I work today? That sort of. Now, he only works a couple hours on Thursday and Friday at that Rosauers, but he loves it, and the people are nice to him. And that takes some leadership from the top to encourage your people to accept some additional time. It takes some additional time and effort to have someone in who isn't as maybe as capable and so forth. So kudos to
Thank you
Rosauers
very
and to
much.
you.
We do take that very seriously
Yes,
as a
I know.
responsibility of our company. And I'm trying to remember how many years Brad has worked there. The 20 that I have been at the company,
Yes.
he's been there every one of those. Plus, I think an additional.
He was
maybe
at Super
10 or-
One for I think something like close to 20 years,
Yeah.
and then he's been at this one for
Right.
it's been
Long
a
time.
number of years. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's great, and it gives them a sense of fulfillment and it's of course a little strange right now with the mask, and they send a helper over to help him and make sure that all the facing is done correctly and so forth. But kudos as a father of a developmentally handicapped son for Rosauers and other entities in Spokane for stepping up and giving them a sense of self-worth and a few dollars for more football cards and things like that. You know,
It is enjoyable for us to watch how people develop with us.
Yes.
And how much they absolutely love working those jobs.
Well, what that tells me is you care about people in the community, okay? Rosauers has stepped up for a number of things over the years. What got you to say yes to this? This is no small task to raise, I don't even know what kind of money, but a couple $1 million, I'm
Yes,
guessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, it was a pretty easy way for me to say yes because Tim Hinkle, who is running the United Way, called and said, "Hey, this is an odd year. We're going to have all sorts of challenges."
So they went to an odd person?
They did. Yeah, totally.
I'm sorry.
I set
you
myself,
laid that,
did I-
you set
did I
it up,
not?
yes.
So he did tell me that Scott Morris was going to be a co-chair in this event with me, and so I was thrilled to know that. Both Scott and I have run campaigns prior to this year, and so that experience I think was really important
helps,
for
doesn't
Tim
it?
and the team at United Way to really have some expertise going into this thing. It is going to be different. There's a lot of virtual kinds of things that are going to be happening this year that have not been a part of what United Way has been all about.
Right,
all the time.
right.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So what's the goal this year?
You know, honestly, I don't know that I know the goal. That sounds terrible.
Well, let's
doesn't
set it at $20 million.
Let's go with that.
Okay. And then I'm going to hold you to it when you come back, right?
That's a little frightening.
Yeah, that is a lot of frightening. So, yeah.
And for people like me, so I'm a Gonzaga student, I haven't heard a lot about United Way. Would you mind talking a little bit about the mission and what it is
Sure.
you guys do?
Yeah, so United Way has been around this community, Spokane community, since 1921. And they have been it's sort of a stalwart here, really looking at those issues that help the community to grow and to prosper. And so in the last 10 years or so, they have gathered about $20 million to reinvest in our community around a number of issues that range from trying to eliminate abuse and neglect for kids and domestic violence, to helping graduation rates to expand in our communities, and then also to really sort of work on that homelessness issue and hunger.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of the tie-in for me, which is, you know, we're all about the basic needs, providing basic needs for our community members, and eliminating hunger. As a grocery organization, that's been our number one priority. So they've been instrumental in doing those things. They also work with partner agencies who are sort of committed to those same things, making a difference within our communities. And there are a number of those partner agencies that receive some of their funding, just a portion of it, from United Way. And the thing that I really love about United Way with regard to the partner agencies is that the partners are chosen from an independent panel. So there are community members who actually choose which organizations are going to receive United Way
Wow.
funding, which is a great
So it's
deal.
not like staff
Yeah.
favorites or
It is
something
not
like
staff
that.
favorites at
yeah.
all. It is it's a separate organization that is brought together to look at, you know, which of these organizations do we think are going to make the biggest impact. And they set metrics for those organizations. They have to live by those metrics, and they have to report back to make sure that if I'm going to invest money in those organizations through United Way, that I want to make sure that I don't have to think about it again. I just know that the United Way process is going to vet those agencies, and they're going to hold them to meet those metrics, which is really, I think, important for people who are considering a donation to United Way to know that you can do that with confidence.
Yeah. I like that you go to the people, that like everyday people, to decide.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we definitely, you know, have an idea of what the issues are in our community.
There are so many involved people within our communities who volunteer their time in this process, but they take it very seriously. They dig into each organization's mission statements and what their metrics have been in the past, what they're focused on, and how they're doing their work. And then they're also looking at that balance of how much money is going to the programs versus to the administration of the programs. And so they really make a targeted effort to make sure that as many dollars as possible go to the programs so that we can make a difference in the community.
That's been a question on many levels with the Better Business Bureau and others out there that we've all heard the horror stories of organizations across the country that, 50% will go to administration and so forth. And,
Right.
and you want to know that if your hard-earned dollars, whether it be $10 or $100 or $1,000, that most of it's going to go and make a difference in your community, and you might be helping the person down the street or another student at Gonzaga or whatever it might be. And
No, I think that's really important, and I think all of us know. I mean, as an organization where we have a number of entry-level employees,
right.
I know that some of my employees are actually recipients of United Way funding or the help of United Way agencies,
Right.
And that makes me feel good that I can invest in those organizations who are giving back not only to the community, to something that's very important to me, and that's my employees.
Yeah. I think a job is, one of the most valuable things that you can give someone.
Yes, absolutely correct. Yeah, that's exactly right. So,
Yeah. And that way you're not involved in they need counseling or they need this kind of help, but you're helping the big picture, which then does help them with their Downs child or
Yes.
whatever it might be out there, that the service is getting out to the community and making a difference.
Yeah, they've United Way has sort of selected 3 main priorities, and one of those is around, as I mentioned earlier, this elimination of child abuse and neglect, and also to try and prevent domestic violence. And the scary thing about that is, in Spokane, the rates are double what they are statewide.
Ooh.
So some of that comes from, the pressures of financial, the financial pressures and those kinds of things, which always sort of put tensions at a little higher level.
Yeah.
And so it's really important for us as a community to reach out and make sure that we have programs available for people who are under those kinds of stresses, to make sure that they're getting the right opportunities to help eliminate some of those.
And
kinds
they're
of things.
often entry-level people, and I'm thinking with working in places where some of those jobs have been eliminated or furloughed or whatever it may be, and they're hoping that their unemployment covers it and so forth, but may not be able to do some of the extra things that they really would like to do.
These times are really, really difficult
Yeah, they
because,
are.
to your point, there are a number of our fellow citizens who are without work. And if both members of that household, earning members of that household, are unemployed, talk about financial stress. Talk about emotional and mental stress.
Yeah.
That's just almost impossible
And
to
domestic
imagine.
abuse, depression,
Yes.
suicide, all of that.
All
that
of those
we
things.
don't talk about enough sometimes because that's out there. We've talked about COVID-19 and the physical things that can happen to you, especially elderly people and so forth. But there's also the mental side, and we sometimes kind of put that off to the side. But you can ask the police and deputies and others out there that they're seeing a lot of that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So United Way sort of partners with agencies, and they're really working on a community level too, because this is a much more complex issue than just working through an agency. It's a community issue, and so they're working to partner with a number of organizations within this community who are focused around these areas. So things like parenting classes and mental health classes, substance abuse classes, all of those kinds of things really can make a difference for those people who are struggling around this pressure that you find with neglect and abuse and domestic violence.
Yeah,
those
and
kinds
there's
of
just too
things.
much of it.
There
really is too much of it, and I get it when we talk about the pressures and those kinds of things that can really just add to the pressure of abuse and how to deal with it and so forth.
Yeah. One of the other areas that United Way is focused on is around education, and really it's trying to ensure that all kids have an ability to get to graduate.
Yes.
And if you think about that,
Yes.
especially as you sort of put this COVID spin on it, people who are in lower income levels and people who are minorities are much less likely to graduate than the rest of the community.
Right.
So there's got to be a focus around that. Now add the COVID piece. If I don't have the resources at home for broadband access, internet access,
Yes.
or I don't have a laptop
Or childcare.
Or childcare.
Yeah.
Childcare is enormous.
All of which you really have to have today.
Yes,
You know?
in order to make it work. So United Way is investing in a number of programs around this whole education piece, and it really starts when kids are really young. So
Yes.
early learning programs, making sure that kids are ready to learn by the time they actually go to school is so critically important. It really makes all the difference in terms of the numbers and percentages of kids who are likely to graduate.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
really investing in some of those early learning programs, after school programs, summer care programs, all those things where kids can not only engage with having some fun, but they're also getting a little bit of an education around that too, and the social experience, which is really important too.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
So, as I look at all that's going on, what draws you to be so involved in United Way?
Yeah. You know, I have been a United Way donor
Yes.
for over 40 years. And I go back to when I was working for a little company over in Montana called Buttrey Food and Drug. And my supervisor, when I first got my...
Comes around with the card.
It sort of, yes, that's exactly it. And said, you really need to participate in this. And it was, at the time, I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just sort of living check to check as it is.
Yeah.
Can I really afford to do this? But when he sat me down and sort of explained where that money was being not given, but invested,
Yes.
then it made all the difference in the world, because to hand out something is one thing. To invest in a solution that is long-term makes all the difference in the world for me, and I know it does for a number of people. So even way back then, you know, at 20 years old probably, you know, it was one of those deals where I said, you know what, it's something I need to do. And I think part of that is your upbringing, right? I had parents who, my mom particularly, who was a big investor in terms of community projects and things that were going to make a difference, very involved in school systems and those kinds of things to make sure kids got education and all those kinds of things. So it was sort of a little bit of a natural outreach for me to want to be involved. And so over the course of time, I've been fortunate to be able to not only be a donor, but also to be involved in the United Way workings. So I've served, as I mentioned, as a campaign chair, but also on a number of campaigns.
Right.
Just doing some of the outreach, speaking in front of some of the other organizations out there, trying to explain my story and why people should engage with United Way.
Yeah, and I think people tend to gravitate and appreciate when you can kind of tell your story too.
Yeah.
People they identify with some part of that somewhere
right.
along the line,
Yeah.
and I think that's important.
Yeah,
because it really is people giving to people, you know, indirectly through United Way and so forth.
That's right. That storytelling is so critically important because it becomes human.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not just talking about principles or theories or any of those kinds of things. It's about experiences that have helped somebody to move down a path. And, you know, it's not, again, about a hand out, it's about a hand up,
Yeah.
right?
So
Making sure
traditionally, the United Way is kicked off in September or something like that. What are we
Yes.
going to see this year?
well, I think those
Or what
plans-
you know, because
yeah, that's
they
right. So those
keep
plans are
changing.
still
Yeah.
being developed a little bit. And so Scott and I are sort of on hold waiting for a little bit more information to
Yeah.
come from the organization about when we're going to actually have an official kickoff.
Yes.
But it will be different this year. I think a number of organizations are going to go to virtual campaigns. Rosauers has done that for a few years, and it's been really successful for us because we have a number of employees who work different shifts. So I
Yes.
can't be there for every
Oh my
one of these
gosh.
stores to kick off because we have people that work at midnight or 2 a.m, making donuts. Fresh every day, by the way.
Yes.
And
I know.
yeah, right. So we really have to be able to
Yeah.
reach out and make sure that message is getting out to everybody.
Yeah.
So I've created these little videos that share a few of these little stories that I'm sharing with you and why I'm personally
Nice.
invested and why the company is invested too. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to do along with our employees. So we contribute a contribution corporately, but much of our contribution comes from our own employees. And last year we were about $60,000. So
Oh, wow.
over the course of the last 10 years, call it about, it's over $500,000.
Wow.
Which makes a difference in the community because every little bit helps,
Yeah.
even though you don't.
When we all work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, an investment of $1 or $2 a week.
Yeah.
Really, that's $100 at $2
Yeah.
a week. So
Yeah.
it's not a lot, but it can make a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it sure can. And I know from past fundraising experience and all of that what a few dollars can make a difference in somebody's life and turn them around and
Yeah.
help that mother that's struggling or the parents that are struggling with childcare or
Yeah.
a hearing problem or whatever it may be, that we may not know them directly, but we know they're out there.
That is true.
You know.
Yeah, I think especially in these times of COVID,
Yeah.
where we've got so many other factors playing into this thing, it's more important than ever to make sure that if we can, we do
Yeah.
contribute.
Yeah.
And United Way is one of those avenues. There's certainly others, but
Right.
again, for me, I love giving to United Way because I know that those agencies and the investment that United Way is doing inside the community on the bigger, broader, more
I
complex
was going to
issues.
say, with involving the community
Yeah.
as deciding where and so forth, you know, it's your fellow citizens that are making
Yeah.
the decision, not
Yeah.
some smoke-filled room with staff. And I
That's
don't mean
right.
that in a negative way, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I do.
It's pure involvement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one thing, a lot of people have thoughts about United Way just being about the agency.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about working through the agency. I collect money and then I redistribute it. It is so much different than that
Yeah.
nowadays. And when I talk about those complex issues and United Way's ability there, it's really about being a convener in the community,
Yeah.
bringing the right people who have a stake in getting that resolution to that issue together so that we can work side by side and toward a common goal.
Right.
And it really is making a difference. I mean, graduation rates, probably one great example of that. Our graduation rates.
We're
in
doing much
Spokane,
better, aren't we?
Way better than
Yes.
what we were,
Yes.
several years ago. We were in the 60s,
Yes.
high 60s at one point, and I think we're over 80% now.
Wow.
Which we have a room to grow, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but you know what I've caught myself and a lot of people like you, other business leaders in the community, the last decade or two talking so much about the 4-year education. And I don't want to say that that isn't important. But you only have to look at the housing industry to know that we're paying for some of that because we focus so much on you have to have that degree.
Yes.
And not everybody does. There's good money to be made, a lot of satisfaction of driving by and saying, I helped build that, and so forth. And I'm glad and happy to see more emphasis on the trades now, too, that people have choices. You can be in political science or marketing, or you can run a company that builds homes. I
That's
mean,
right.
And we need more of that.
That's right. And, one of the other issues that United Way is focused on is around financial stability. And
Yes.
so they're
Yes.
investing in things like skills training.
Yes.
It's not necessarily reinvesting in, to your point, a 4-year degree necessarily,
Right.
but to make sure that people who may never have the opportunity nor the interest in
Yes.
pursuing a 4-year degree
Yes.
have the ability to go do other things. And Kent, you're exactly right. Even in my industry, HVAC folks, electricians, plumbers.
You
there's
depend on them.
And there's such a shortage of it.
Yes.
So United
Yes.
Way is focused on really trying to make
Yeah.
those opportunities available to a number of people who, again, just don't really have that interest or the desire to pursue a 4-year degree. at
And we've
university.
had since last year a 1,500% increase of people from Seattle looking at buying homes in Spokane. Okay, and you talk with the Jim Frank and others out there. I can't build them fast enough because I can't find the tradespeople.
Yeah, no, that's
And
right.
so, if we're going to grow as a community, and you want to grow as a community for the tax base and more people to come to your store and everything else, we need to be growing, not going down.
Yes.
And so, we've got to give more attention to that.
That's an interesting slant because I think one of the things as a community that we are truly focused on, it's not just through United Way, but other,
Yes.
like Greater Spokane Incorporated and other agencies that are really looking at the bigger, broader aspect of how do we grow this community in a better way? How do we make sure that there are jobs available for our kids, jobs that create living wages and those kinds of things? And it really starts with these basic fundamental things of trying to address some of these poverty issues, the education issues, because if we have a workforce that's ready to go here, businesses will come here. And so we really need to invest. Again, I use that term very
That's what
meaningfully.
it. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it is an investment. It's not just
Yeah.
a handout.
Yeah, well, and that's what I have said for years in terms of giving to nonprofits, whether it be United Way or Vanessa Behan
Yes.
or whatever it is. You're not just donating money; you're investing in our future as a community. And you think of
Yeah.
someone like Vanessa Behan and why they were started, and the fact that they give that relief to a mother who's just on her wits' end and can't handle the kids, and she needs someone that she can trust to take care of their kids while she deals with a boyfriend or a husband or whatever the case may be. They need a break. They need to know that they feel, and we have wonderful organizations here in Spokane.
We do.
We really do.
And
We're blessed.
You highlight Vanessa Behan, and Rosauers has been a partner with
Yes.
them for many, many years. In fact,
Yeah.
we have a golf tournament, the Rosauers Open, that supports them
Except
from an
this
operating
year.
budget, except for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different story for a different day. Kim.
Yeah, I know.
But to your point, I mean, they're
Yeah.
sort of one of those partner agencies that are not necessarily a partner agency of United Way, but partnering with United Way to try and solve
Trying
some
to
of these
solve the
bigger,
problems.
complex
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you. Thank you for what you do with your stores and keeping them open and giving them, was it Easter off, I think?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
Thanksgiving to come.
Yes, and I think it's great because
you.
I try to thank all of them when I check out and so forth because they're good people. I know they're putting up with a lot, of abuse in some cases, but also just with people coming through and so forth. They're the troopers out there.
They really are.
They
yeah.
really are, aren't they? Because you've experienced it when you've been shopping and stuff
Yeah.
too. I mean, we all have. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no.
Thank you and Scott for stepping up to lead United Way this year and the
We're
fundraising
both very
during
excited about it.
a
Yeah.
challenging year.
Yes.
And you're going to come back because I want to know how this is going.
We are
Okay.
going to do it.
Yes, I know you are. I know you well enough to know that it will get done.
That's right.
But I want to know some of the steps as you go through the process. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you,
okay,
Ken, very
thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks, Summer, for joining me on
Yeah,
this.
thank you for
okay?
Thanks,
having
Summer.
me. Nice to
And-
meet you.
Yeah, good luck with your career, too.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
one more year. Yes, you're hoping that you can actually graduate in
Yeah.
a regular ceremony.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.
Welcome.
It is great that you're getting the internship.
I know,
piece,
I really
because
lucked
those
out.
are not
Yeah.
plentiful out there. I have a son who is a mechanical engineering student over in Montana, and he was supposed to have a summer internship here. Didn't happen, so I'm not sure how that's going to relate down the
Yeah.
road, but
Yeah.
he'll make it. We
Yeah.
all will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get through this.
Yeah, we will. We will. Absolutely. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity
Oh,
to talk about
anytime,
United Way today.
anytime. Thanks for watching the Pulse of Spokane, everybody. For Summer and myself, have a good day. And for Jeff. Okay, we'll include him.
That's right.